Welcome back to Chamber Exchange, a TV show. I want to thank our sponsors, Bank Hometown, that helps make Chamber Exchange, a TV show, happen. I'm thrilled to have with us on our final segment of Chamber Exchange, Eric Green, who is the general manager of Value Store here in Worcester, located at 3 Chestnut Street, and kind of an historic building. But we'll get into that in a minute. But maybe, Eric, you could tell us a little bit about, how long you've been in the business and exactly, what Value Store does.
Sure. Well, first, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, Tim. It's good to be here. So in terms of my background, I don't think that many people, are growing up and they say, I want to get into the storage business. Certainly wasn't my plan. And I spent about 30 years in corporate America in various sales and marketing positions. And then just prior to the pandemic, I was let go from the company I'd worked at for 13 years and really had decided to make a change at that point, something that I had always dreamed about and thought about, but never had acted on. And I have a best friend since kindergarten. He's been in the storage business for over 20 years, and an opportunity came up to purchase a facility in Worcester, and he asked me if I'd be interested in partnering with him. And so that was just in September of 2020. So just about 8 months ago or so.
Jumped right in the middle of the pandemic. And, for those from Worcester or the Central Mass familiar with the Pleasant Street corridor, Chestnut Street, kind of an iconic brick building that has had a lot of different roles over the years. And so, like a lot of people make focuses and shifts in their career, and, getting into giving your corporate background and marketing and sales, now going into storage, Value Store. You've got to market, you got to tell people about your business, the services that you provide. Storage has become a very growing industry. So tell us about kind of how your experience of the new business so far, and you've made some pretty substantial investments in the building as well.
We have. So I guess, first in terms of the building, the building's 120 years old, pretty fascinating. I've tried to do some actual research on the building, and all I have is kind of anecdotal people telling me what they believe, that the building was once used for storing munitions during World War I. And so, and if you took a tour of the building, you would believe that the building was really built for storage and solid storage. And after World War I, it transitioned into being used for fireproof insurance paperwork storage. So you would imagine before computers that we needed to store all that paper, and that's what this building was used for. So it's always been storage, and it's, it has a freight elevator that services all 5 stories. That freight elevator is rated for 8,000 pounds, which kind of makes me think, maybe the munition story is correct. And it's a very solid old building that we've taken a lot of pride in putting a lot of updates into it to really kind of bring it back to life. Things like a brand new roof, and we've painted the interior completely, all the ceilings, all the walls, all the storage units. We found a few different places within the building where we were able to add 150 brand new storage units. So it's now 450 units. We purchased it, it was 300 units altogether. And probably more important to the people that are viewing this is that, we've doubled the amount of security cameras in the building. So, safety is really important. There's very good lighting inside and outside. And we've added keypad access to allow our tenants to be able to come in and go. Even when we're not here, those tenants have access to the building 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. So a lot of improvements.
Yeah, and having had a law practice at one time, we stored some stuff in that building, and an unbelievably solid building. And I'd love to kind of come in and see the updates and the investments that you made. But let me ask you, Eric, what is driving a lot of this growth in the storage industry?
You know, I think a lot of the growth is, I kind of relate it to, it's the big gulp society, right? You know, people are, you know, they want the big gulp. They don't want a small cup of coffee. They want the big one. And now people are buying a lot of things and they just don't like to get rid of them. Some of that has to do with, you know, aging population that, you know, as people get older, you know, and ultimately they either want to downsize their home and need a place to store things, you know, or unfortunately they're passing away and then their children are stuck with those contents, and what do they want to do with it? And people just aren't ready to deal with it. And so that ends up being some of our storage use. But there are other professionals, like you said, you know, law firms that store paperwork here. That's another use is business. And then another one is just, if you think of your own house, the things that you put in your attic, or if you're lucky enough to have a garage, you know, let's imagine that if you didn't have an attic or you didn't have a garage, where would you put those things? Where does the snowblower go at the end of the season when you don't have a, you know, you don't need it anymore and you don't have a garage to store it in? Those things, the Christmas decorations that you put in your attic, if you don't have an attic, where do those things go? So a lot of those things are helping to lead to this need for storage. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think the other thing is just people don't like to throw things out. And so, you know, you could have a yard sale, you can go to the dump, or you can bring it to my place and I will happily store it for you.
That's right. And then, you know, one of the things we know from the Central Mass economy, it's diverse and it's regional and seasonal. And some of that may have to do with college students, you know, coming and going and not wanting to ship things across the country, just to have them shipped back 3 or 4 months later.
Well, that's a really important one. We just finished the month of May, and you know, we had a big college rush that I was really happy to see. And you're absolutely right. It's, you know, students from all over the country that, you know, I have their parents calling and they say, we don't want to ship back that bureau. She's just going to need it in a couple months. And so, you know, there was a good deal of that for the month of May, and that business is great. They'll be here for a couple months and then they'll take it out at the end of August.
Got it. So Eric, if someone wants to, you know, learn more, get in touch, get that lawnmower, get the lawnmower out, or get a snowblower in, how do they get a hold of you? And
sure, you can either go to my website, www.valuestorit.com, and we are the Worcester location. You can make a phone call to us here at 508-791-0692, or you could email me at value24, the number is 24, at valuestorit.com. Or please stop in anytime. I'd love to give people tours and show the facility off. I take a lot of pride in the amount of renovations and the cleanliness and the security of the building. And, you know, you asked about my background, you know, sales, marketing, and project management. And, you know, I really enjoy this business because it uses all of those things every single day. And I love the customer service aspect. And my assistant manager, Sean, is equally passionate about helping customers.
well, thank you for your involvement and membership of the chamber, but also thank you for your investment. We're seeing some, you know, a lot of people talking about downtown and the Polar Park and the Canal District, but we're seeing some significant and important reinvestment in the Pleasant Street corridor, and that's encouraging as
Exciting.
well. So Eric Green, General Manager of Value Store, thanks for being with us. And to you, our viewers, thanks for being with us on this edition of Chamber Exchange, the TV show.